thrown for over 1,400 yards this year, and his leading pass receiver, Dave Dunn, caught 54 passes for 1,075 yards. That's an average of 19.9 yards per catch, along with 8 touchdowns. The leading rusher is Bruce McCallie, and he's missed a few games because of injuries. Dom Serratelli is a fine blocking back, and this is quite a ball club, Xavier, and the winner of this ball game is going to be, with little question, the #1 team in the state. And they've had a couple of close calls. Xavier started with a 16-0 win over South Catholic, 12-0 over Northwest Catholic, and a close one against Notre Dame of West Haven, 6-0. A game in which sophomore Nick DeFelice intercepted a Notre Dame pass with 2 minutes to go to possibly save that game for Xavier. Then they edged out wins of 14-13, beat St. Bernard's 22-3. Over Bristol Central 36-20. A real close one, scoring in the closing moments to beat Maloney 8-0. And Wallop East Catholic 34-7. Beat at Hand 20-6, and St. Paul's 28-8. So they scored 196 points, have allowed only 57. Quite a team coached by Larry McHugh.
Okay, that's the Xavier Falcons. Now let's talk a little bit about our Valley team, the Naugatuck Greyhounds, who are coming off one of the greatest wins that they had in the last 8 or 9 years, defeating a good Ansonia team. What can we talk about the Naugatuck team, Walt?
Well, I think both teams are going to have similar offenses, and I think Moreland, the quarterback at Naugatuck, and Darryl White, the fullback, and the running back, Ted Dowdy, will match Xavier in power from the Power I formation. They're both going to have similar offenses. It's going to be a team who plays the greater defense who's going to win today.
Well, we also have the passing in, from Moreland to
Croce
and Pascal.
Right.
Okay, we're going to be back right after a word from our sponsors and with the start of the game. It's going to be, the temperature's about 36 degrees outside, and the only thing that is really awe-inspiring at this game is I looked at the sidelines and took a good look at that Xavier team, and as one of the officials at the game up here said, he'd never seen more players or people since the play Aida. That's a lot of people out there. They have 100 men dressed for this game.
Well, and we noticed that Remy Ferreira, who will not be seeing any action today, is not dressed. He's out there at midfield with the coin flip. Suffered a case of pneumonia the past week, and of course nothing would keep him from coming to this game. Unfortunately, Remy will not be part of it, but he'll be there in spirit on the sideline.
He does a very good job of filling in for Dowdy. Key plays, gives Dowdy a rest, keeps the fresh tailback at all times.
And otherwise, both teams are in excellent shape. And as I said, we're going to see Charlie Hickey throwing to Dave Dunn. Charlie Hickey doing a lot of running. Bruce McCallie, the tailback. And this is quite a ball club. Larry McHugh, who has had undefeated seasons, 1969, 1971, 72, and that team of 74, a really outstanding team, 77 and 1981. Now, they've only been in one playoff, 1977, in the L Division, when they were defeated by Fairfield Prep, which always has an outstanding ball club, by a score of 22-6. And this is a team at 10 of 11. The 1980 offensive starters were lost to graduation, and only 2 defensive starters returned, and only 2 who played the same position as 1980.
Well, Naugatuck won the toss, and they elected to receive.
To defend the north goal, Xavier will receive the ball.
Oh, that's unusual. Naugatuck elected to kick the ball rather than to receive it.
Well, the wind definitely going to be a factor in this ball game. Pete mentioned it was about 36 degrees, but that wind chill factor,
it's very cold.
Get it almost into single numbers. Walt, you're an expert on that.
Well, I think Kevin Moreland can really boom that ball on the kickoffs, and they're trying to get it in as deep as they can against Xavier, hold them in the first sequence, and get field position. I think that's the strategy right here.
Right, we see Dave Dunn dropping back as the deep man, and we're all set to go for the...
You know, Kevin Moreland did an outstanding job against the Chargers of Ansonia on several plays, taking the ball up the middle on the quarterback sneaks, controlling the game and getting 5-6 yards of the carry. If he can do that here today as efficiently as he did against the Chargers, Naugatuck will be in this game. Some people seem to think that Xavier is going to way outclass the Naugatuck team, but I don't believe so.
No, they were very well-matched clubs. Of course, Xavier's played quite a schedule. The 6 of the teams that they played were ranked at the time they played them. 5 of them were undefeated. And they, of course, have gone undefeated. And the only ranked team that Naugatuck did play, of course, was the Ansonia Lavender Chargers. And Naugatuck only allowed 58 points this year, have scored 303. Craig Peters in his 9th year here at Naugatuck, and we can expect Moreland, who's got some great statistics, 3.65 yards per carry, carried 97 times this year. That's a lot for a quarterback, and he's thrown for, scored 6 touchdowns and thrown for 8 of them. And, of course, the running backs, Doughty with 9 touchdowns, White with 8 touchdowns, and White averaging 6.27 yards per carry. So they've got some great stats, great offensive ball club, and the defense has just been outstanding all year. And we are all set to go. Moreland warming up the foot. And Dunn is back at the 5-yard line. We're going to be seeing a lot of Dave Dunn today.
Well, once again, referring to that Ansonia game, Naugatuck held them to 40 yards rushing. And when you can do that against a tough offense like Ansonia, you've really done something for the day. So that defensive ball club has been in all the games, and they've shown that they've got what it takes to stop teams.
Well, Moreland all set for the kickoff. That doesn't go very far. On the 19-yard line. And the carry by Sal Pepitone.
There's a couple of Pepitones on the team, too.
Right, Sal and Joe. And Sal will be seeing at defensive back. He's only a sophomore. So, relatively good field position to start off now for the Xavier Falcons from
I think Moreland hit that ball just a little too low.
And we see Dunn wide to the right side, as we'll be seeing just about all day long. Charlie Hickey keeping on the option.
Hickey on the keeper, across the 35.
And tripping him up on the play for the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
Number 16.
Number 16, that's Rick Pichetti, defensive back.
2nd and 4.
That was an outstanding run by Hickey. He got around then and then leaped over one of the tacklers and picked up about 5 yards.
Right, he possibly is the runningest quarterback in the state of Connecticut. Likes to run that ball. And in the T formation this time. And there's the first down. And lots more.
Saratelli, the ball carrier.
Dom Saratelli, who does most of the blocking, this time on the carry.
If it wasn't for Mariano tackling him, he would have been going for a touchdown.
And the pickup way down to about the 33-yard line.
29-yard pickup.
29-yard carry on Saratelli. So they went from the option into the T, and again they're in the T with the slot left. Again, Saratelli, not too much this time, about the 30-yard line.
Pickup of about 2. But it looks like Xavier is going to run with the ball. So far, a sweep and off-tackle plays.
Rich Zavednak making the initial hit for the Greyhounds with Lynn.
Xavier went into a power formation left. They're wing left this time. Pull back
Once
up
again.
the middle.
Saratelli once again. And we've yet to see Bruce McCallie, leading rusher, the tailback in the I formation, carry the football as yet, but Xavier hasn't had to do that, so carrying from their own 33. They are now down
about 4
to the Naugatuck 27.
Well, this Hickey will go down the line. He'll pitch it out to McCallie. There's McCallie.
The left side, and he carries not very much on that one.
That's going to bring up a 4th and about 2, maybe 1.5. And it looks like the Naugatuck Greyhound defense is starting to stiffen up.
Very nice job done by number 86.
That's Steve Gross with help from Jim Einig.
4th and 2.
So 4th down and 2 coming up now with 9:20 to go here in the first quarter.
Look for Callie to get the ball, the leading receiver for the Xavier Falcons.
And look at...
And Naugatuck defense went to work.
He is tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
So behind the line, and the Naugatuck Greyhounds will take over.
Jim Einig did a heck of a job against Ansonia last week, or Thanksgiving Day, intercepting 2 or 3 passes.
It's been outstanding all season for the Naugatuck Greyhounds. So Naugatuck stops that drive, which started at the 33-yard line after the very short kickoff by Moreland. And we have 9:07 remaining first quarter, no score. Naugatuck's first possession in the eye.
Encroachment.
That was quick.
That's a 5-yard penalty against the Xavier Falcons.
Tim Goulet, a linebacker, number 57, junior. So 1st and 5 now for the...
You got a lot of famous names out there. Goulet, Pepitone.
We've got a Nolan and a Kowalski and a Laddick. Nolan and Kowalski are the defensive ends. Laddick and Chris Mordarski, the defensive tackles. Greg Ricco, the monster back. And White up to about the 38-yard line.
There's our heavy-duty White carrying the ball, getting the feel of the offensive charge there. First down.
You know, I was talking to Don Pascal before the game, and I was mentioning the fact that Xavier has 100 ball players dressed, and he said only 11 could play at a time, and I guess he's right.
This time Greg is out to the left side in the eye with 2 wide receivers, and again carried by White to about the 40-yard line, straight up the middle, and Kowalski on the stop, assisted by Tim Goulet.
This is good strategy to get that offensive line charging and the timing right. It's very essential that they don't give up the ball here.
8 minutes to go, first quarter. Naugatuck's first possession, taking over on downs after a Xavier drive. Here's the second down play and the option. The pitch going to Dowdy around his left end, short of the first down.
Well, that was a pretty good hidden misdirection play, because I thought the quarterback had the ball, and the pitch out to Dowdy was an excellently well-planned play.
Well, they have to honor the great fullback White up the middle, and that holds a linebacker for a few seconds, a second at least, and that gives the outside run, that outside play a little time to go.
Right. Neither team has thrown as yet. We may see that a little later on. With Naugatuck able to move, they have a 3rd and 1, 1 yard short of that first down. And we'll see what Moreland calls. How about the quarterback keeper? Nope. Give it to his fullback. Didn't get it. Dowdy did not get it. He was really hit hard. They covered up that middle beautifully.
Todd
Roberts, the linebacker, junior linebacker, Todd Roberts, making the stop, bringing up a 4th down, and still about a yard to go for the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
Remember, this game is for the mythical state championship, being recognized as #1, and the only 2 teams that are undefeated in this year high school play.
Right, the playoffs themselves, New Britain was unable to get into the playoffs because of the point system. They measured it anyway, but it's obviously short. And we'll have the punt coming up now, the first punt of the ball game.
You know, I understand that the Naugatuck Valley League teams were picked, and Kevin Moreland was picked as the outstanding kicker for the league and the most valuable player.
Most valuable player, although he didn't make it as a quarterback.
I guess kicking must really be important.
Right. Fair catch at about the 22-yard line, and then unnecessarily.
Ball fair caught by McGuire at the 23.
Well, that could have been a penalty. Bruce McCallie.
I think the referee elected to let that go because there was no intent, and he held up.
It was a bear hug.
Yeah,
they don't penalize bear hugs.
Call the guy you liked them.
Right.
The fair catch signal was sort of abrupt.
But no harm done. So it's Xavier putting it in play now as they change the footballs at the 22-yard line. So Xavier's second possession with 7:22 to go in the first quarter, and no score. Well, Xavier was able to move the football the first time, and the fourth down they were stopped. And the option right, Hickey
tripped and fell.
Looked like tripped on his own for a couple-yard pickup. Bring up his second down.
A little deception. He winged left, the power to the left, and went away from it.
1-yard pickup.
The
Naugatuck Greyhounds really were sky high after beating that Ansonia team on Thanksgiving. They did a fine job. Can't say enough about the quarterback. Quarterback did really an outstanding job in that game.
One really moved that team all year long, including that Ansonia ball game. Well, Hickey looking to throw for the first time to McCallie, incomplete on the right side.
Hickey's pass is incomplete.
That was a sprint right pass. He was a little too eager to throw it. He should have went out 6-8 yards and back of where his tight end's supposed to be, plant his leg and throw. He was just a little bit in a hurry.
Those were the detailed words of Walt Teslick on Pete Capone, along with Brad Harris.
Little coaching tips, those little wrinkles that make a big difference in the ball game.
They have to iron them out.
You have to iron those wrinkles out. There's a little different formation now.
Back into the T with
slot.
Slot, wide receiver right, now into the I.
Into the I slot.
Pitch out to McCallie, doesn't work at all. Greyhounds right in on it. It's once again Steve Croce along with Teddy Sanford.
And the Naugatuck defense is stiffened up again. Most people wouldn't think that Naugatuck could stay with this, but we've seen the Naugatuck team play, and we know how good they are. They really are a good football team.
Outstanding year for Coach Craig Peters, looking for the #1 spot.
Right, it's a shame. There's always been known as the second power in the Naugatuck Valley. Right now, they're proving that they can play with anybody.
On the 4th and 9, the kick by Don King, hitting at midfield. Good field position coming up for the Naugatuck Greyhounds, just short of the 45-yard line. And Pete?
Okay, we're going to break for a commercial word, and we'll be right back.
Set with a 1st and 10 now for the Naugatuck Greyhounds at the 45. Moreland looking to throw. And falling down the receiver, it looked like, let's see who that was out on the right side.
You know, I didn't get a chance to look at the number, but Naugatuck lineman took an Xavier lineman and blew him right out of the field there for one.
That was Joe Pascal, number 89 on the left side. Had he not fallen down, there would have been a reception in Xavier territory. As it was, we have a 2nd and 10.
Tried to attempt to throw a pass running left, a right-handed thrower.
Well, Greg is out to the right side, and Ed Santiago to the left. And Dowdy getting in there into the backfield for Xavier was Mike Kowalski, defensive end, is a 6'5", 210-pound senior.
Rick Van Dyne, the right guard, was pulling. That was supposed to be a trap, but the Xavier lineman penetrated too fast.
So we have 9 yards to go for that first down, and it's 3rd and 9 for the Greyhounds. About 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter from Rudy Field, Central Connecticut State College in New Britain. Moreland throwing high, way high, intended for Rick Ruest.
Intended for Ruest.
Way off the mark, and a second punt coming up now.
This is probably too early to talk about it, but if the game remains a tie or a scoreless tie, what happens, Brad?
Well, we would have the Kansas system as we had earlier this season, the Ansonia-Watertown game in the Valley area. Each team will attempt to get a touchdown with a 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line, and the other team can match them. Or to get a field goal, whatever. You only go 3 times around, and that's it. It'll be a tie if nobody wins out. Picking up on the run, and that was a mistake. Steve Croce.
He made number 28 for the Xavier.
Tim McGuire.
McGuire paid for that catch.
Well, he timed that one perfectly. McGuire just picking it up on the bounce and running right into Croce. So Xavier, way back at their own 20-yard line. Defensive battle so far.
It's a kicking game right now, Brad. The team that gets the better punts off might get that field advantage.
Right. And this time Dunn is going out to the left side. They have a slot right in the T formation. Now they go into the eye. McCallie is the deep man. The Hickey option doesn't work very much. Bob Oris, first man in there for the Naugatuck Greyhounds. The nose guard.
Well, the crowds are booing because they thought there was unnecessary roughness there, but I think Naugatuck was looking to strip the ball from the quarterback, Hickey.
Brings up a second down. Pickup was 4, just about the 24-yard line. Dunn again out to the left side. McCallie and Serratelli are the running backs, and looked like somebody moved forward, but they didn't call it. And Serratelli carries to the 30-yard line, first down.
Tackle by Paquetti.
Paquetti and Big Ted Stanford, defensive tackle, make the stop, but after an 8-yard pickup and a first down for the Xavier Falcons.
I think as the game progressed, Naugatuck is getting tougher and tougher. They might have been in awe of Xavier, but they're certainly not now. But the numbers, just sheer numbers.
They go off of left tackle to the 34-yard line. Serratelli carrying Ted Sanford once again, and on the stop. And Bob Oris coming over to help out. 3:25 to go in a scoreless first period.
They're hoping to catch Naugatuck a little off, deploying to the wide side of the field and coming back to the weak side. But Naugatuck's not buying it right now.
But on 2nd and 7, Dunn to the right side. Serratelli again.
You know, Naugatuck is gang tackling. 2 or 3 ball players are hitting every ball carrier.
Oris, Sanford, John Lynn also in on the tackle after a 3-yard pickup, so it's 3rd and 4. Charlie Hickey looking over to the sideline. Coach Larry McHugh.
Well, based on their running ability right now, I would think that Xavier would have to try to throw the ball, Brad.
All right, let's go to Dunn on the right side. It's hit him 50.
Xavier.
And I guess Hickey wants to confer again with Larry McHugh.
With us here in the booth is one of the presidents of the officials up in this area. What group are you with? Joe Arnone?
I'm a member of the Central Connecticut Football Officials Association.
Joe, did you have an opportunity to see some of the high school players, teams in the area, some of the good teams? Who can you tell us were some of the outstanding teams that you happen to officiate at?
I think by far Xavier was the outstanding team I had the privilege of officiating for this year.
And did you get a chance to look at any of the ball players in the lower Naugatuck Valley area, like Ansonia or Naugatuck?
No, I really didn't get a chance to do that this year. Most of my officiating is done on a college level, and once in a while I'll do a night ball game on the high school level.
Are you surprised that Naugatuck is in the game with Xavier right now?
Not at all. Not at all. They have a very fine team.
Thank you, Joe Arnone.
Okay, here's the 3rd and 4 play coming up now. And a quarterback draw. It's short of the first down. Greyhounds not fooled.
Hickey on the keeper, tackled by Oris.
Cross and Oris.
There's a little quarterback draw. Deploying 2 wide receivers to the wide side. Naugatuck's quite alert this afternoon, I'm sorry.
Tonight, they'll be watching it.
They'll be alert tonight, too, on TV.
King kicking.
King kick from his 30 and almost getting in there was Jim Einek. Again, good field position for the Naugatuck Greyhounds at about the 46-yard line.
As I said before, it's been reduced to the kicking game in these early moments of this championship battle.
Both teams outstanding defenses.
Joe, one thing, did you get a chance to look at this undefeated New Britain team?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to watch them play this year.
Well, they're undefeated. It's a shame that they're not in the playoffs, too.
Yes, it really is. A lot of people have knocked the point system they use. I don't really know much about it, but it is a shame when a team that has a record like New Britain has to sit home and watch somebody else play football.
Okay, thank you. Joe Arnone.
Moreland with the keeper picks up some yardage into Xavier territory.
Moreland keeping.
That play was developed by the fullback White. He hits in there very strong, and the timing was perfect. Took it out of White's tummy and kept it.
I'd like to see Naugatuck throw the ball a little bit more because they do have a good receiver in Pascal, and Moreland is certainly adept at throwing the ball.
It's the first time they've been in Xavier's territory. Just got over the 50.
2nd and 6 with about a minute to go here in the scoreless first quarter. Moreland calling the signals, and the pitch to Dowdy on the right side. He was met by the monster back, Greg Ricco. Brings him out of bounds. Close to first down territory. By the way, Pete, I did get a chance to see New Britain this year. Radio play-by-play, the West Haven New Britain game, and they just edged out West Haven. Had 6 starters out that game and did not look very impressive.
If you were to classify them as compared to the Xavier Naugatuck team, would you say they're in the same class?
Not based on what I saw that particular day.
Okay.
They just, offense was almost non-existent that particular day, and as I said, there were a half dozen starters out, but they just could not get anything going, and a very weak West Haven offense was the reason that New Britain was able to win that game.
Well, there's 47 seconds remaining in the first period of play. I'm Pete Capone, along with Walt Teslick and our play-by-play man, Brad Harris. Frank, who normally does the play-by-play with us, is in California.
In California, making a lot of money.
Not only that, he's enjoying the beautiful weather out there, and we're freezing up here in the booth. We wish him well, though, and we had a good season all year. We hope the people out there in Valley Land enjoyed football. And we're certainly proud of the Naugatuck football team. They're doing an outstanding job here today. And I like them in this game. I think they're going to blow Xavier out in the second half.
47 seconds to go here.
Naugatuck Valley loyalty.
Well, I'll tell you.
An attribute you have, Pete.
Well, I'll tell you, most of the Valley fans know that there's good Valley football, whether it's Naugatuck, Derby, Shelton, Seymour, or Ansonia. You just have to root for those teams because, you know, they're Valley teams.
Here's a 3rd and 1 now. The keeper, first down, Moreland.
Keeping across the 40.
Going off a left guard, finding some running room.
I like to send him in after White smashes through there.
Stop made by Sal Pepitone, sophomore. Defensive back. The 2 sophomores in the defensive alignment for the Xavier Falcons. Sal Pepitone and Nick DeFelice, 2 defensive backs, along with Tom Patton, 6'4", 195-pounder.
Oh, we had a Nick DeFelice in Derby. I wonder if he's any relation, the guy that played for the New York Jets.
I think he is.
Naugatuck elected to take a timeout with 36 seconds remaining in the first period of play, which gives an indication that they might be going for the pass with the wind at their back. That's what we can look forward to. Remember, Naugatuck has some outstanding receivers in Pascal and
Steve Croce. They throw to Rick Ruest.
Right. And the outstanding quarterback, Moreland, who can do everything on the football team. MVP in the Naugatuck Valley League.
Right. And that's a scoop.
What'd I tell you?
Oh, he's got the receiver out there. Doing a little button hook, and Gordon Gregg. And the deepest penetration for the Naugatuck Greyhounds. First down with 26 seconds to go, but it could be a flag down. And if it's against the Greyhounds, it's going to be a tough one now. After their best offensive play so far, with 26 seconds to go in the first quarter. So they'll bring it back, and that fine completion from Moreland to Gregg will be negated.
Crackback blocking has been called again.
Crackback blocking.
That certainly puts Naugatuck in an unenviable position.
Well, they've still got pretty good field position, 40-yard line, but they had it inside the 30 just a moment ago.
20 yards. First down and 30. I have your attention, ladies and gentlemen. We have a young lad named Phil Suma.
First down and about
6 years old.
25 to go for the Greyhounds. And another timeout call. Now, they call another timeout, Pete, and I think, interestingly, I mentioned that West Haven-New Britain game, and that was a game where West Haven had called its timeouts in the first half, and then they were driving toward a score, and they ran out of timeouts, and the same thing happened in the second half. So you have to be very selective when you take your timeouts. And sometimes it can cost you, but they just want to get it right. We saw Charlie Hickey call that timeout a few moments ago. talk it over with the coach.
Can we explain this 20-yard penalty, unless it was
The
from
crack
area of the infraction?
Right, cracked back block.
20 yards they lost.
So instead of being inside the Naugatuck, the Xavier 30,
I don't understand.
at their own 40.
Excuse me, Joe Arnold. It seemed to me that they were tagged with a 20-yard penalty. What happened there?
Well, that was a crackback block, and it occurred in the beyond the legal clipping zone, which means it's a spot foul. In other words, it did not occur on the line of scrimmage. It occurred behind the line of scrimmage.
So they take the ball from that point.
Right. In a situation like that, it's a running play, so it should have been, at that point, it was a running play, and it was assessed from the spot.
Thank you.
So 1st and 25 for the Greyhounds. Moreland back to throw. And he's got Ruest at midfield. That'll pick up some of the yardage.
One pass is complete to Ruest.
Then knocked out of bounds by number 43, Chris Nolan.
Well, there's only 2 seconds left, and I think that's going to be the end of the first period. And we'll be back with afterward from one of our sponsors.
Xavier, 0.
First quarter went by, no score, but we did see some good football, good defensive work by the Naugatuck Greyhounds, as well as good defense work by the Falcons of Xavier.
Right, we've seen a couple of punts from King and Moreland.
2nd and 17.
This might have been expected. Of course, you've got two fine offensive teams, but they're both fine defensive teams, too, as the records have proven. Moreland looking for Greg, can't find him, and down he goes.
Behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, everybody was covered. I think Greg was his primary receiver. Roberts was in there for the
Roberts making the play.
Xavier Falcons.
3rd down.
And it'll bring up a 3rd down in long yardage. That's Todd Roberts, junior linebacker, made that stop. So 3rd and 23 for the Greyhounds of Naugatuck. Kevin Moreland, who has thrown for 1,110 yards this season. He's completed 73 of 126. And he's throwing that swing pass to Dowdy. They've got a long way to go, and they're going to have to give up the football. First minute gone here in the second quarter. A scoreless game.
Defending on the play.
There's 6 games going on in the state, expanding it from 4. And still, you get an undefeated team that's left out of the playoffs, but that's the way the system works.
Deep men. This is Moreland.
So from the 35 and a flag.
Flags on the play.
And be sure to check channel 3A at Valley Cable for the playback times of this Naugatuck Xavier game, along with the Adsonia Wilson game, which you'll also see on Valley Cable.
Well, there was a penalty there on the line, Brad. One of the offensive guard moved, and Naugatuck was assessed another 5-yard penalty.
4th and 27. So Moreland to kick from his own 30-yard line. Hitting at the 33 and down at about the 34-yard line. So Xavier 1st and 10 on their own 34-yard line. But 10:26 to go here in the first half, and there is no score.
23 yards punt by Moreland.
Xavier took the opening kickoff from their own 33-yard line, but were stopped inside the Naugatuck 30 on a 4th down play. So Dunn is wide to the right. Charlie Hickey in the tee. Looking for Dunn the first time, wide open, and he's got a 1st down. Then they drive him back. Just wide open.
That'll bring up a 1st down anyway.
That's the first time he's gone to Dunn. So far, 54 completed passes.
I don't think he's all done with Dunn.
It's only the beginning.
They've just begun with Dunn.
You're having a lot of fun, Pete. 9:54 to go here in the first half. Ball on the 46-yard line. Looking for Dunn again. Oh, that was a dangerous pass. There were about 3 Naugatuck defenders. McKetty almost intercepting it.
Coach McHugh, he likes to keep something going if it's going. In other words, a previous play worked, so he tried to work it again.
As wide open as Dunn was 2 plays ago, he was covered. That much covered he was that time, and a very dangerous one.
Naugatuck made the adjustment.
So bring up a 2nd and 10 from the Xavier 46. McCallie to about the 49. Pick up 2 or 3.
Well, that's Stanford playing tough game in there. He stopped him head up with a lead blocker, and Stanford jammed it up.
And Pryor was there also for the Greyhounds of Naugatuck.
John Lynn.
Garnet and Gray are here to play.
3rd and 8 now. Pickup was 2 on that last play. You might be looking for Hickey to go to the air as they shift into the eye. Looking for Dunn. As Dunn goes to the other side, he's going to go to Dunn again. And he's got it. What a play, huh? 24-yard line. He was just bound and determined to get Dunn loose, and that's what happened. And that carries way down inside the 25-yard line. Well, Dunn went, he was flanked right, and he went out of the right side, went all the way back to the left side.
He made a professional catch and staying in bounds with that ball, too.
Traveled 53 yards across the field.
First down at the 24. To the 20. Pickup of about 4 for Charlie Hickey on the option left. Bottom of the pile, Steve Kroos for the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
They're running their power formation, Brad. They get the big fullback in front of their tailback.
Well, they use their bread and butter play all season long to get them to this spot at the 20-yard line with 8:26 to go and a scoreless first half. On the keeper to the 16.
Again, Hickey the carrier.
The stop for the Grant Jack Pryor, number 64.
Bring up a 3rd and 1.
And Zabedna.
3rd and 1. Let's see what Hickey calls on this play.
Quarterback sneak.
McCallie. How about the handoff to McCallie? Nope, he got it right this time.
Apparently, Brad hasn't been with us all season, right?
Well,
by
no
debut
of your expertise, Pete.
I haven't been wrong all season, Brad.
Right. Down to the 13-yard line, a 1st and 10 now, and this is the first serious threat of the ball game.
I'll call the play again, too. You look for the quarterback to sweep right.
He hasn't been going right.
No, went to the left. The Greyhounds are ready for him, though.
That's to the Naugatuck's right. Sweep to the Naugatuck's
right. McKetty, Jack Pryor get onto the stop 2 for the Greyhounds.
3 on the play, 2nd and 7.
The 11-yard line, the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 7 for the Xavier Falcons, coached by Larry McHugh, 19 years at Xavier of Middletown. And he sent a man in motion with Serratelli. McCallie gets away from one tackle, but not the second one. And they're thrown back to the 14, and a flag down on the play, however.
It's going to be
Ted Sanford.
Looks like a preliminary motion signal.
Yes, they moved the tailback over.
Be refused, I would think, because they knocked them back 5 yards and take the play.
Or bring up a 3rd down if they decline the penalty, and the officials talking it over now.
I think it's a matter of a yard, so I don't think they should accept the play.
That's right, they'll decline the penalty. Bring up a 3rd down.
Penalty brings up 3rd down and 10.
Okay, now we can look for the Xavier quarterback to go to the number 15 again.
This would be the spot for the 3rd and 10.
Well, they're going to try to flood the wide side of the field.
Dunn is covered, and he's, oh, what a throw! And
what a beautiful, that was 2 beautiful plays.
Boy.
The quarterback getting rid of the ball, and the defensive back coming in and knocking the ball down. Beautiful
that
play.
was Ed Santiago.
That was John Lynn putting pressure on him.
Lynn with the pressure, and Santiago with the deflection.
You know, there's a
Well, the line-
Santiago on every football team. An unsung hero. You know that, Brad? Huh?
All the Santiagos.
No, I'm saying a kid that doesn't get the publicity comes through with a big
What
play.
you meant. Naugatuck's going to call a timeout, and they're going to be out of them very shortly, if not already. 6:32 to go in the half.
Back with Joe Arnone. Joe, I want to ask you a question. On that particular play, it seemed like the quarterback was in the arms of the defender. There's no rule in high school that to protect the quarterback like a professional rule?
No, there isn't. Not on a high school level and not on a college level either.
And a beautiful play that was, both offensively and defensively.
It certainly was. We're seeing some very fine football being played.
It would be a shame if this was a scoreless tie, though.
I don't think it will. I think we haven't seen the last of things yet.
If his knee was down, would have been called by the official?
Yes, if his knee was down, the ball would have been whistled dead right then. It was just about, right.
Well, what do you call now? 4th and
They're going to throw the ball again. What else?
from about the 15-yard line.
Going to flood that zone. No, he bootlegs.
Right to Dunn's arms that time. Got his hands on it, could not hold, and the Greyhounds will take over on downs.
Now, we're going to break for a commercial word, and we'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Greyhounds take over. Go up the right side, Darryl White that time to about the 18-yard line. Looks like Pepitone Tom Patton in on the stop.
Pepitone's playing a good game for the Xavier, making a lot of tackles, and White's running with a lot of power in the Naugatuck backfield, too.
Right. And the Greyhounds have one outstanding play, but of course that was negated by the penalty on that pass to Greg. That could have brought him inside the 30-yard line. So now they're deep in their own territory with the 2nd and 6. 5:50 to go in the first half. Ted Dowdy off a right tackle. Tripped up by Greg Ricco, the monster back for Xavier. And Lattig also in on the stop.
They're going to play a little conservatively here. They don't want to give the ball back to Xavier this deep. They're trying to grind it out with their good running backs.
Which is a smart move by Craig Peters and the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
2 wide receivers to the left side, 1 to the right. Pitch to Dowdy, trying to beat Ricco, and he does beat him.
First down.
To the 28.
Dowdy, the carrier.
Got away from his man beautifully, and
Nice
Tom Patton
cutback.
finally made the stop.
If the offensive blocker blocked that outside man, Dowdy would have been gone for a score. He had to come back inside and therefore picked up the first down, but not as many yards as he should have had.
Good run by Ted Dowdy. He's carried the ball 150 times this year for 692 yards and a 4.61 average. 9 touchdowns. Whoop. And number 75. Pretty obvious to everyone. Keith Lattig, defensive tackle.
Yeah, we don't give names on the high school level.
Moving before the snap.
Dead ball foul.
So 5 yards on the encroachment.
1st and 5.
Greyhounds a little breathing room out to about the 33-yard line with 4:52 to go in a scoreless first half.
You're watching it right over Valley Cable Channel 10B.
Here's the 1st and 5 play. White, first down to about the 43. Rico.
He was tackled.
Oh, the tackle.
Tackled by Patton, the captain, one of the captains. Big outstanding ball player, too.
Right.
You know, Xavier deploys a monster 89. He's always on the strong side of the field with number 7, Greg Rico.
And Naugatuck went right at that power and picked up the first down.
To the 44-yard line, Naugatuck's own 44. White wrestled down by Tom Patton.
Well, Patton's a lot bigger than White. I thought White was a big football player. How big is Patton?
Let me check my list over here. He's 6'4", 195-pounder.
Big kid.
White did a very good job, very good thing there. He put the ball from his right, he switched hands, put the ball to his outside so it wouldn't get knocked out.
Well, I think it's about time for Naugatuck to throw the ball now because they've been having a lot of success running the ball. 2nd down at about 2 yards, so look for Naugatuck to air the ball right now.
And 3:45 to go, first half. Well, Moreland gets the first down and lots more. Patton once again. And the Greyhounds are on the move, and of course they've got the luxury, I call it, of having Kevin Moreland who kicked those field goals.
And
of course the wind could have
they have
lot
with
to do with
Moreland with his great running ability.
12 yards on the play.
I bet you a lot of people are surprised that this Naugatuck team are really, you know, talked to a lot of people before the game, and a lot of people on Xavier's side said it was going to be a blowout. But Brad Harris said, no way, Naugatuck is going to be in there, and I say the same thing.
Right. 12-yard pickup on that last play, and Ted White got tripped up on the line, or he might have been gone for a lot more.
White, the carrier.
Was tripped up by, I think, Sal Pepitone. Tripped him up, and Mike Kowalski made the tackle, defensive end. Pepitone from the secondary.
2nd down.
Now you know why this interior line of Naugatuck was so good against Ansonia. They've got tremendous confidence after beating them, and they've pushed Ansonia around in the middle. Now they're pushing Xavier around in the middle.
Pascal to the left and Ruest to the right. 2nd and 7, 3 minutes to go in the half. Oh, that time. Falcons right in on that play. Kowalski, defensive end. Laddick was also in on the play, and Roberts, linebacker. All to stop that one at the 36-yard line.
Well, Kowalski's not the big man for nothing. He's there to the wide side, Brad, to stop that.
6'5", 210-pounder.
Here comes Mr. Pascal into the ball game right now, and watch what happens there.
It's a 3rd and 9 from the Xavier 36. Wide open in the flat was Dowdy. Make that Greg, number 24. Short of the first down, and a 4th down coming up now.
Naugatuck will definitely go for it. 4th down and about 2 yards.
At about the 20.
They're a little bit far away from Moreland to kick that field goal, right?
But he still can go on that quick count on his quarterback sneak. He's dangerous on that play.
I don't think they'll go for quarterback sneak because of the middleman, but they're only playing 3 middlemen. He might go left.
Possibly Ted Dowdy with a sweep to the left. Nope. Kept it close, got it.
Got the first down.
First down.
That kid is all right. Is that kid all right or what?
I said he'd hold it, Pete. My predictions finally came through.
Yeah, but if you remember what I said the quarterback would run left. And he did.
And got the first down with a 1st and 10 with about 2 minutes to go in the half. So time is very important, and the Greyhounds called 4 timeouts so far in this first half. White. 2 or 3. Kowalski trips him up, and Laddick.
Well, now they're starting to get in field goal range.
2nd and 8 on the 2-yard pickup, and time all important now. 1.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
They got to use Pascal, though. They got to throw to the kid. Kid can catch.
The tight end is open there.
Oh, look at Kevin go down to the
1 yard line.
Down to
5 yard line, I'm sorry.
He almost moved into the end zone.
What a job that offensive line of Naugatuck is doing.
17-yard pickup.
The offensive line of Naugatuck is outstanding.
They are doing the job for Kevin Moreland. You've got Scott Skidmore, Van Dyne at the guards, Langlace at center.
Oris and Stanford at the tackles.
Right.
They're
Steve
doing a
Cross,
great
the
job.
tight end.
Right.
Great block.
Beautiful job. This Naugatuck team is a fine football team, and they're doing a job right now on the tough Xavier team. Now, Xavier didn't let a lot of people score a lot of things on them.
I thought they had
That's
used
great.
all their timeouts.
Right, they're down to the 6-yard line with a 1st and goal to go. 1:15 remaining in the first half.
Look for the big fullback White to carry the ball.
Some big plays coming up here in the close of the first half.
Or the way Moreland's running, he might hook on to White and
Did you see what he did?
escort it into the end zone.
He broke past the line. He was hit head on, and he actually pushed the defensive back about 4 yards back. Outstanding.
He had the momentum.
Must have a lot of strength in his legs, that kid, because he's a hard-running kid.
Right. So a 1st and goal from the 6.
Let's see if the Greyhounds are going to draw blood first. I think they will.
Santiago to the right, Greg to the left. Dowdy close to the 2.
2-yard line, and the offense is clicking.
Inside the 3.
They got to huddle fast.
Tackle by Peppertone.
We're down under 1 minute now.
Well, we'll see if this is going to mean something with the...
They still have some timeouts left.
Well, they don't think there's anything left now. 2nd and goal from the 2. Dowdy touchdown.
Dowdy's in for the score.
For the touchdown.
Following the offensive holes made right up the middle.
Well, they put a hole in that defensive line that I think I could have ran through, Brad. That thing was at least 6 feet wide.
What a drive that was by the Naugatuck Greyhounds. Really had possession of that football for a long time.
The left guard did a heck of a job for Naugatuck there.
Skidmore and Van Dyne are the guards, and Langlace the center, because that middle was wide open.
Kevin Moreland.
And Kevin Moreland try to make it 7-0. First score of the game comes with 45 seconds to go in the first half. There's the kick. It's up, and it's good. And with 45 seconds to go, first half.
7-0. The Greyhounds take the lead. The Garnet and Gray came here to play.
That was Skidmore. He really did a good job in there, the left guard.
Scott Skidmore opening it up for...
I'm Pete Capone along with Brad Harris and Walt Teslick. Really enjoying this football game and seeing a Valley team do it to a good football team. They control that ball all the way down the field. They ate up about 10 minutes of the clock, and they put 7 points on the board via Moreland's outstanding play to the 5-yard line.
The Valley Football League has been maligned, but these 2 top teams, Ansonia and Naugatuck, can play with anybody in the state. And they're showing it here today.
The Greyhounds averaging 30.3 points per ball game. And Xavier 19.6. Xavier allowing 5.7 points per game, and Naugatuck 5.8. Both can score, and they both have great defenses.
It'll be interesting to see if Xavier varies from their game plan, which up to now has been running the ball. They had some mild success throwing the ball near the end of the second half, and
they won't have much time here in the first half. Just 45 seconds remain. They go to that quick passing offense, or play it conservatively and go into the clubhouse down 7-0. Done at the 32.
Done at the 22.
Look at those white shirts swarm.
2, 4, 6 Greyhounds, 7 Greyhounds on that tackle.
McKelly led the tacklers for Naugatuck.
3 seconds. He lost a couple of plays, technical difficulties at the end of the first half. A short pass to McCallie for 6 yards, and then Saratelli went up the middle for 2 for Xavier. Time ran out with Naugatuck ahead 7-0 as we start the second half. Now, Naugatuck, which won the toss originally, elected to kick off because of the wind factor and Xavier's choice, and they again elect to receive. And Moreland kicks to Dunn.
He gets a good one off now.
This 7. Out to the 33-yard line. There were 4 first downs in that first half of Xavier, 7 for Naugatuck. And Naugatuck 101 yards on the ground, 19 in the air, a total of 120. Xavier 74 rushing, 47 passing for 121. Hickey 3 for 7 passing, Moreland 3 for 5. King punted 3 times for 30.3 yards, and Moreland for the Greyhounds 2 for 22.5 yards. There were 2 Xavier penalties for 10 yards, Naugatuck 2 penalties for 26, and neither team fumbled in that first half. 7-0. Greyhounds lead. Play action. Hickey throwing. And it is complete out there to Tom Patton. First time he's been a pass receiver. They may try that again, Pete.
Well, 6'4", 195 pounds, big kid.
It was sort of a knuckleball pass, but it floated right into his arms.
So it didn't take very long. Opening up the game, Xavier staying on the ground, and then they unable to move that much, went to the air, and Hickey's been going to Dunn, and this time to Patton. Just 35 seconds gone here in the second half. On the option, McCallie.
Beautiful defensive close down by Naugatuck.
They stayed right with it.
Yes,
in on the stop.
Pryor did a heck of a job on that coming up.
Pryor.
And Tom Van Ness also in on that play. He's monster back today for Ferreira. Was on the sidelines, but on the ailing list.
Second down.
2 receivers out to the right. Dunn and Skip Jackson. Saratelli was hit right on the line by Rich Zavednik. Brings up a 3rd and 5 from the Naugatuck 36-yard line.
On the play, 3rd down.
And 10.5 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, they're putting Dunn out wide, and they may throw to Dunn.
He's looking for him. Can't find him. Whoa, Ted Sanford hanging on for the Greyhounds, catching him from behind.
Sanford doing an outstanding job for the Greyhounds.
That would have went a long way if Sanford didn't grab him then.
Well, that time Dunn was covered very well by the Greyhound defense. And it brings up a 4th and 5 for the Xavier Falcons. Ball squarely on the 35-yard line. King punted 3 times in the first half. Whoa, almost got in there. That was Sanford. So the Greyhounds inside the 15-yard line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
We missed one play, no gain on the play, and we're all set.
Darryl White took a handoff up the middle.
Got about a yard, maybe not even a yard on the play. Call it 2nd and 9. Was stopped on the play by linebacker Todd Roberts. Moreland on the option, finds a hole, but with that closed up pretty quickly. Greg Rico, the monster back, was there along with Todd Roberts once again, linebacker.
The keeper, again, Roberts the tackler.
Well, Moreland spotted that big hole, but the hole quickly closed up, and the pickup was just 1. So 3rd and 8 now for the Greyhounds, leading at 7-0. 8:24 to go here in the 3rd period.
This is Pete Capone along with Brad Harris and Walt Teslick right here in New Britain, bringing you the best in Valley High School football.
Well, they didn't go to the air. White carried way short of the first down, only to the 20-yard line. And Xavier should be getting some pretty good field position as the Greyhounds.
Back to receive will be done along with number 26, Joe Barone.
No, number 28.
Oh, 28.
28, Tim McGuire.
Fourth down. That's the 20.
Well, his kickoff was very good. Now we hope he gets a good punt off.
Moreland kicking.
From about his 7-yard line.
Nice punt.
On the 43.
Beautiful tackle by number 84.
64. That was
Dave Parody.
Jack Pryor, number 64.
64. I'm missing these numbers.
As I said, pretty good field position for the Xavier Falcons as the Greyhounds lead it 7-0. That was quite a drive by the Greyhounds in the closing moments of the first half. 14 plays, 86 yards. Big carry, 17 yards by Moreland, and Dowdy went over from 2. Pitch back to McCallie inside the 40-yard line, short of the first down by a couple of yards. Ketty running about out of bounds. Pryor and Steve Croce.
In these numbers.
As I said, pretty good field position for the Xavier Falcons as the Greyhounds lead it 7-0. That was quite a drive by the Greyhounds in the closing moments of the first half. 14 plays, 86 yards. Big carry, 17 yards by Moreland, and Dowdy went over from 2. Pitch back to McCallie inside the 40-yard line, short of the first down by a couple of yards. Ketty running about out of bounds. Pryor and Steve Croce roll in on that one. Second down. About 3 to go for the first down.
Second and 3.
Now they go back into the eye. First down. Saratelli, Ted Sanford, and Steve Croce. But too late.
Xavier's come out with fire in their eyes. They're just grinding this ball out now. They're running with power to the power side of the formation.
In the T formation with Dunn to the right side. Hickey runs into a swarm of Greyhounds. Ted Sanford makes the initial hit, assisted by about 3 or 4 more of the Greyhounds, including Steve Croce.
4 on the play, second and 6.
Croce is doing a good job, along with Sanford, stopping that run of the Xavier Falcons.
Brings up a 2nd and 7. Hickey inside the 30-yard line. Sanford's in on that one. And who else we have? Bichetti also in on the stop, and Jim Heineck. Well, they're trying to grind it out now as Hickey carries and bring up a 3rd and 3. From the 28-yard line of the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds lead 7-0. 5:50 to go, 3rd period. This is for the mythical number 1 in the state. Saratelli looks like he's got that first down.
Across the 25.
Well, 5:42 remaining in the first 3rd period of play. And the Falcons of Xavier got a first down.
Their ground game is going. It isn't going for big chunks, but enough.
So 1st and 10 from the 25. Pick up about 4 after the Ted Sanford trip. trying the left side. And Steve Kroos and John Lynn. Down to the 21, second and 6. Time running down here in the third quarter. We are now inside 5 minutes for the mythical #1 in the state of Connecticut this ball game. Hickey going to be short with the third down coming up.
We had a word at the halftime score in the Ansonia-Wilson game is Ansonia 8, Wilson 6.
A lot of folks thought that one would be a
runaway,
big runaway for the Ansonia Chargers.
I guess they didn't make it to the playoffs, these teams, without playing some good football.
Right. Of course, they've scouted each other up and down, watching the game films and having the scouts on the scene. So anything can happen. 3rd and 4 now. Hickey for Don on the beautiful pattern touchdown.
Hickey's pass is complete to Patton for the touchdown. Correction done for the touchdown.
Well, that's the combination that's worked so well all season. We've got a 7-6 ball game. He ran the square out pattern, well, just to perfection.
Well, Ruest took a gamble on that. He tried to bat it down by cutting it off at the pass, but the pass was complete. He was split second too late.
19-yard scoring play. Hickey.
19 yards, Hickey to Dunn.
This Valley High School game is being brought to you by Housatonic Lumber, Fitzpatrick's, The Here and Now, Castle Rock Deli, and General Muffler.
Xavier going for 2.
Okay, they're going to go for the 2. Big play coming up right now. Hickey. Fires it. Oh, and he dropped the football. That was Patton. Hickey with a lot of time, just scrambling. And with 4:13 to go in the third quarter, the score is Naugatuck 7 and Xavier 6. And we'll be back. And we are.
Wow, we're already back.
Well, that was just a perfect pattern run. That pattern's been run many, many times.
Yeah, all year. I want to talk a little bit about our sponsors. All year long, they've been good with us. The Here and Now, Marino's Cafe. Stop down there for live entertainment. The Here and Now, if you need a haircut. Fitzpatrick's, if you're looking for a new or used car. General Muffler, if you're looking for a new part, foreign or domestic. And Castle Rock Deli, if you're looking for a catering job, that's the place to go. And we want to thank all our sponsors.
Very well said.
Thank you.
Very well.
25.
So the 19-yarder.
On with Ruest and
Hickey to Dunn, and the 2-pointer. No good, but close. But of course, close does not count. 7-6. The Greyhounds have the lead. Not very deep. On the run, looked like Darryl White up to the 43-yard line.
White returning the kickoff.
11-yard carry. Good field position for the Greyhounds.
10-yard return.
This is just one of 6 games being played as they've expanded the playoffs this year. Moreland, the fake to White, the pitch to Dowdy. Patton gets away from Patton to the 30. He's going to run out now. And down he goes inside the 10-yard line.
What a play by Dowdy.
Nick DeFelice finally brings him down.
Patton came over to make the tackle. Patton picked up a lot of area by doing so, but just couldn't get a hanger on him, and he went down for almost for a score.
48-yard
run.
Down onto the 9.
Dowdy.
They have to get a touchdown.
Well, the Greyhounds strike back.
Goal to go, Brad.
Right, Greg goes to the left side on the 9-yard line. White hits the middle for a couple of yards.
That was a dangerous handoff. White hit the hole a little too fast then. He almost missed it.
Like Ladd again on the stop along with Chris Mordarski, defensive tackle. Second and goal inside the 9-yard line. Craig
The pass receivers are in.
Something to Moreland. He may call a timeout. And he will call a timeout. Talk it over with the coach.
With that timeout, we'll take a break for a commercial word, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Goal from the 9-yard line. Moreland gets
Face mask.
caught. Oh.
Face mask.
And did he get the face mask? It'll only be half the distance.
Nolan, the tackler, there is a flag on the
Tackle,
play.
that was Chris Nolan came in originally, make the entry, and Keith Laddick,
Should have been an official.
second man on the play.
I called that face mask right as soon as it happened. It looked like the kid tried to make a tackle, a head tackle, and just grabbed the mask by mistake.
Tried to make the tackle with a little too much authority.
Well, that'd be first down, Joe?
It was
Half
first.
the distance.
Replay the down.
Here it goes, a 2-yard penalty.
Second and goal.
Second and goal from about the 6-yard line. 3:10 to go, third quarter. Naugatuck with a 7-6 lead. They led at halftime 7-0. Greg out to the left side, Santiago to the right. White behind him is Dowdy. Moreland the quarterback. Oh, do it again.
Dowdy hit behind the line of scrimmage by Jack.
That time hit by Chris Mordarski, defensive tackle. 5'11", 185-pound senior.
Well, there was a little quick trap in there, but he blew in there too before the trap could be established.
Well, we might, the Greyhounds don't get the score on this one. They call another timeout. That's 2 timeouts.
Well, it's important that they get their offensive plans right, because they're as close as they'll ever be to the goal, and they want to come away with some points.
This is a great opportunity, but they still have the option for the field goal.
Well, a field goal won't mean too much to them now, because they have a 1-point lead in the touchdown thing. Yeah, right. Unless Xavier comes into a position of kicking a field goal, and we don't know if they can or can't. But this Naugatuck team is certainly doing a job today.
That Ted Dowdy 48-yard run was a beauty. The longest running play of the day.
Third and goal.
Dowdy had a 2-yard score, and the Xavier score, Hickey to Dunn, 19-yard pass. 2.5 remains, third quarter.
Well, Naugatuck's been planted on that 9-yard line for the last 3 plays.
They had that penalty, and that face mask violation. 3rd and 9. Pascal out to the right side. Moreland is looking left, and he's going to run it. Cuts to the 5. Touchdown.
What a beautiful run by Moreland.
He cut beautifully. He planted his outside leg and cut in. Slippery as an eel.
He looked like he was going to get hit 2 or 3 times and just evaded the tackles and went in for the score. That kid Moreland, definitely all-state possibilities.
Kevin Moreland.
MVP in the NBL.
And Moreland will attempt the point after.
Moreland converted the first time and will try again. Ruest will hold. 13-6.
And it's good.
Again.
It is good, and with 2:25
So,
in the third quarter.
Moreland converts once again, as he's done so often this season.
9-yard run.
Right, kicked 31 extra points during the season and 3 field goals. And this is a really important one. It gives the Greyhounds an 8-point lead with 2:25 to go, third quarter, 14-6 over Xavier.
What a game we're watching right here on Valley Cable Channel 10B. We picked the best game, Frank, I think. Frank, I'm sorry, Brad. I'm so used to calling
in
Frank.
California.
Frank.
Yeah, see, Frank, you missed everything. What a game.
He'll be watching the videotape when he returns. And now Moreland.
He got a very good kickoff the last time.
Is the deep man for Xavier.
14-6 is the score. Now, Xavier, the best they can do with one score is tie with a two-pointer. But we've got a lot of football to play. 2:25 in this third quarter and a 12-minute fourth quarter. And if there's a tie, they will play the Kansas system overtime. And if we get to that point, we'll explain what that's all about. So the Greyhounds all set for the kickoff. 9-yard Kevin Moreland run. 2:25 to go in the third quarter.
The wind a little strong out there now. The ball fell off the tee. Look at the flag out there, Brad. It's blowing 100 miles an hour.
It feels like it, too.
It's a real nice kick.
Done at about the 3.
He's got a wedge. But
what a job of tackling by the Greyhounds.
Pichetti met him first and slowed him.
And Einig was in there real fast, too.
First and 10.
So let's see if Xavier goes to their game plan with that quarterback handling the ball on every play, running the option mostly.
Done out to the left side.
1102. Thank you, Oris.
Mickey pitch to McCallie. Pulls his way to about the 24-yard line. Picking up some good yardage on the play. Then Sanford in on the stop. Rick Ruest also in on the tackle. And
Van Dyne.
Rick Van Dyne.
Gain of 7 on the play.
It was only a matter of time before he pitched that thing out. He's been carrying the ball and keeping it most of the time.
Looked like somebody had moved for the Xavier, but they didn't call it, and they get the first down. Sanford making the stop. I think they want to measure it.
There'll be a timeout.
Pryor also in on that last stop.
I think he's got it by about the length of a football.
Clock down to 1:22.
By the length of a football, Brad.
You got it, people.
Xavier of Middletown. Art Coase, the athletic director. Larry McHugh in his 19th year. Assistant coaches, they've got about as many players as assistant coaches on the roster. Bob Boro, Nick DeFelice, Don DeMaine, Tony Jaskett, Perry Julius, Ron McDonald, Frank Rudini, Tom Tokars, and Tim McCormick. First and 10. They delayed handoff to Serratelli. Mariano, Stanford. Jack Pryor,
and Mariano.
also in.
Gain of a yard, 2nd and 9.
Call it a pickup of about 2 with the clock moving down. The end of the third quarter, 48 seconds to go. 2nd and 8. Coming off to the sideline now, Mark Neal, Chris Nolan. Dunn way wide right. Think he'll go to Dunn? Now looking left side, there's nobody over there. And he is
beautiful tackle by 82. John Lynn.
Linebacker. Well, I don't know.
A lot of speed on that kid,
Peter
Lynn.
Walt, he was looking to throw left, and there was nobody on the left side. Well, maybe trying to fool the fool the defenders, who of course can't see behind them. But he didn't fool us in the press box, and he didn't really fool a defensive line of the Naugatuck Greyhounds. 3rd and 9, and that's the end of the quarter.
Okay, we'll be back after a commercial word.
That's the end of the third.
Naugatuck has showed that they not only deserve to be here, they deserve to win. They're playing one heck of a football game out
Well played by both clubs. There hasn't been a fumble. There has not been an interception.
Right.
No turnovers in this game.
There's coming an interception right now.
Hickey looking for Patton, and he's got Dunn at the 45-yard line.
Across the 45-yard line. Tackled by McKinney.
We lost power again.
45.
17-yard pass play.
Is that plug out?
First down.
Plug out?
No, we're in.
It's not the plug. Done.
Tackled by Benassi.
There was a clip on that play, too.
Number 5 made a clip.
No, there was. They didn't call it.
Okay, I think we're back.
Play second down.
Yep. We had some technical difficulties.
Well, we missed 2 pass plays. Hickey to Dunn for 17 yards to the 47 and just had an 8-yard play with a 2nd and 2 coming up. And a little short of the first down, Serratelli going into the line. Well, once again, the last few moments, Hickey has looked for Dunn. He's found him for 25 yards in 2 plays.
Timeout for measurement.
They're going to measure it, but it doesn't look like it's first down from here.
On the field.
10:55 to go in the ball game, and the Greyhounds lead it 14-6. Dowdy from 2 yards out, and Moreland run from 9 yards out for the Naugatuck scores. And Moreland converting after both. Xavier, a 19-yard pass play with 4:13 to go in the third quarter.
Naugatuck had him third down and about 12 or 14 yards, and they let him get away.
Right.
Hopefully that won't cause any problems and the defense can stop them. But right now they need a yard. I look for maybe the quarterback to sneak it.
Good call. They tried that before. You called it before, Pete. Let's see if you can go 2 for 2. The I formation, and that's exactly it. This is your day, Pete. And Charlie Hickey gets the first down for the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
Xavier quarterback is now rolling out with a guard pulling in front of him for protection. He's getting a little time, and it's very hard for a high school defense to cover slanting, deep patterns the way Dunn is running at him.
And he runs a lot of different ones, too, and they've got Patton out there. Has become been a decoy at times. That makes it all tougher for the defense. Hickey, not much there. He was met head-on by Rich Zavednak.
Zavednak is sticking in there tough. He's been banged around a little. He limped on a few plays.
Defensive tackle, Rich Zavednak. He and Sanford, defensive tackles. Mariano and Pryor, the defensive ends. 10 minutes to go in the game. Regulation time. 2nd and 8. Naugatuck 39. Looking for Dunn. Pumps for Dunn once. He's throwing to Dunn. Incomplete.
He's passed and headed for Dunn.
Covered. McKinney was covering.
Well, McKinney's playing an outstanding game for the Greyhounds of Naugatuck also.
Ruest coming over to help out. The pass thrown too high. Inside the 20-yard line. It'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
3rd and 8.
9:46 to go. That time will become all important very, very shortly. Naugatuck with an 8-point lead.
I think Coach McHugh was a little upset. He was looking for an interference penalty, but both ball players were going for the ball.
Right, no, they both went for the ball, and definitely no pass interference on that play.
McHugh must know the importance of this, calling this timeout. This this is very critical for Xavier. It depends on what this tricky quarterback can do on a long yardage situation.
Both teams 10-0. The Greyhounds having defeated Watertown 16-6, Torrington 33-0, Ramapo, New York 21-0, Blank Crosby 40-0, Kennedy 58-0, and Wilby 33-0, and Sacred Heart 20-0. Then they allowed some scoring. Holy Cross, they beat 24-20, Seymour 34-12, and Ansonia 24-20.
If you notice that little static on there, I had an itchy chin. I was scratching it with the microphone.
Little sound effects for the team record.
Well, I want to give you an idea what the wind sounded like.
Two wide receivers to the left. Hickey on 3rd and 8. Tadon intercepted. The first turnover of the game at the 24-yard line. And lumbering with the football, Steve Gross. And the Greyhounds take over.
The interception took place on the 24-yard line. He brought the ball up to the 41. Gross playing outstanding defense and came away with the ball.
Well, the first turnover of the football game. We've had no fumbles whatsoever.
I told you Naugatuck was going to return intercept the pass. Their defense has been playing very good.
Keep throwing that off in, and he was right there on the scene. So the Gross interception gives the Greyhounds the football at the 40-yard line. We'll see if the Greyhounds now play it conservatively. Still plenty of time to go. Dowdy. Patton with a stop from behind at the 43.
If they can get somebody on that Patton kid, that kid Dowdy can go for a lot more yards. That kid Patton's outstanding ball player.
Quite a ball game.
He's in on almost every tackle.
Where's number 5? We have a 2nd and 7, 3-yard pickup. And 6'4", 195-pounder. White gets stopped by Lattig.
Give us to White.
Almost as soon as he got the handoff to bring up a 3rd down.
Boulay also went on the play.
Right on the short of the 45-yard line of the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
8 of 2 on the play, 3rd and 5.
3rd and it's about 6. We'll call it 6. 3rd and 6, 8:33 to go in the game. Naugatuck with a 14-6 lead. Good fake by Moreland. First down and lots more to the 41-yard line.
Xavier, 45-yard line.
Boy, that kid is something else, isn't he?
Ooh. They tagged him MVP, and he deserves to be named that in that Valley League.
He should have been named MVP and quarterback in the Naugatuck Valley League.
Xavier, 41.
Well, no question, Joe Shea had some great stats there, too.
He didn't get it, though.
The
kid from Holy Cross got it.
He did a wonderful job, but the 2 guards pinched for Xavier, and he split them as they were pinching.
Ted White, look at him go. Finally catch him from behind inside the 25 at about the 22-yard line. Lattig finally got him. 19-yard pickup. 19 yards by Darryl White. The Greyhounds have the moment.
As Mr. Pascal said, you could have 200 ball players on the sideline, but only 11 play the game at a time. And the 11 that are playing out there now for Naugatuck are much superior than the team they're playing.
And the Greyhounds staying on the ground. And they're moving. Well, I tried that same play again, but this time it doesn't work. Moreland with a quarterback draw. Lattig, defensive tackle once again in on the play. 6 foot, 210-pound senior Keith Lattig. He's played a whale of a ball game.
Xavier's strategy was to stop all the yardage on first down. There was too much going up the middle the last few plays.
It's a 2nd and 12.
Nice screen play right now.
High formation flags go down as Dowdy carries. And don't even complete the play. Bring up a 2nd and 5 on the encroachment penalty. 2nd and 7. Make it
in that particular case, it's good the penalty was called because Naugatuck back was through and almost going for a score.
Well, they did. The defense did sort of drop out of it, Pete. I don't know if he would have had it or not, but it brings up a 2nd and 7 from the 23-yard line, and that clock is ticking off the vital seconds for the Xavier Falcons. 6:51 to go in the game. Moreland. Nothing there. Rico in there to stop that play. Greg Rico, the monster back.
Yes, he's their sure-handed tackler.
Third down.
Ball at the 20-yard line.
Xavier's doing a good job now, containing the wide stuff and jamming up the middle.
Which should leave him open for the pass.
Right.
This bring up a 3rd down. Oh, he fired that one to Greg out of bounds. That was a line drive pass. Tough to hold that one.
The receiver just had enough time to turn around. The ball was over his head. He didn't have enough time to pick his hands up practically.
A little too far for that field goal, Pete.
I would think so, Brad. I think they're going to throw the ball again.
You have to kick it about 37 yards total.
Now, Naugatuck has a few trick plays here. They have an end around, a reverse.
Right, this will still leave Xavier, if they don't make the first down, not very good field position. So they'll be going for the first down or more. And it'll be a lot less. White carries to the 20-yard line, to the line of scrimmage. So, big plays coming up now for Xavier Falcons. They've got 80 yards to go for a score. If they get that score, they've got to convert to 2 points just to tie up the ball game. The Naugatuck Greyhounds will be digging in. Hickey is coming back from the sidelines. He has the instructions from Coach McHugh, and the instructions are to get a touchdown.
I guess that's what he wants.
Usually is.
And Naugatuck's going to make him peck away at this.
Hickey looking for Dunn. Too many defenders out there. And very close to being intercepted. McKetty and Ruest both out there covering.
There was
Naugatuck's advantage. No yards on first down, deep in their opponent's territory.
There were 6 defenders around Dunn at that particular time the ball was thrown.
They knew what the play was going to be.
You know, that's kind of a desperation pass. You know, I wouldn't have thrown that ball right then.
Well, I think they've got to go for the long yardage now. The time is 5:41.
Well, if they don't get the first down here, they're in trouble.
Let's see what they do this time. A deflection and an interception. Down to the 5, to the 4. Touchdown for Bob Oris. Bob Oris.
Away and picked off by Bob Oris, who returns it for the touchdown.
Well, that's what you call. Who got the hand up there to block that one, Walt?
I don't know, but Oris.
I was so excited watching him run in.
I was at a loss for words myself. I was saying, go in, and he did.
Bob Oris. See how many yards that was?
20 yards.
20 yards.
Return.
You know, Pete, last Thanksgiving I said these Naugatuck kids are very athletic. They can play football. They have the size, the weight, and they have spirit, but they also have talent in all these key positions. Athletic talent.
Things are looking good, and I see some of that crowd starting to move. Well, we've got 5.5 minutes to go in the game. Moreland will try.
Up and good.
He hits it. So the score with 5:32 to go in the ball game, Naugatuck 21 and Xavier 6.
The party's over.
Bob Oris with a 20-yard intercept, and we'll be back after Oris, who deflected the pass, caught it too. Action happened rather quickly, and Bob Oris, who's not the fastest runner in the world, he's a pretty powerful one.
Ran with a lot of power, Brad.
Yes, these Naugatuck interior linemen and the linebackers are hefty, chunky kids. They got power in their legs, and they drive.
So that could be the wrapper of the ball game. Well, we shall see.
You know, that loss that Ansonia suffered at the hands of the Greyhounds is really good for the Valley because it gives an opportunity for two Valley teams to come away with state championships, and Naugatuck probably, I hope, the #1 team in the state.
Well, they hold any part of this lead. There's no question about it. Patton, no, that's done, rather. Wow, he is really wrestled down by Jack Pryor, the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
He's one of those real mobile and hostile linebackers, that Pryor.
We know the folks from Naugatuck are really going to be watching this telecast over and over again, Pete.
Well, they should. They got a good football team, and the football team has certainly proven it here. On defense, they've been outstanding all day, and offensively, Moreland, what can you say about the kid? The kid is outstanding.
Just does it all, no question about that. So the Xavier Falcons, their backs up against the wall, a little over 5 minutes to go in the game. Hickey's going to have to throw. Looking for Dunn. Down the middle, has him at the 43, and immediately got inside defense. Piketty making the stop.
Well, that's a deep curl or a banana pattern that the pros run. He runs it very well.
Well, Hickey just waited
well,
for
he's
Dunn
in
to
the
get in
I
position.
formation, and he has two blockers back there.
First down in that, of course. Patton interception at the 45-yard line on the deflection. Nobody's. Jim Heineck.
He did it against the Chargers of Ansonia. He did it again today against the Falcons of Xavier.
Yes, he was all over David Lee in that Thanksgiving Day game.
Well, if there's any question, I think at this point,
that Naugatuck has the guns, and they're firing them today.
It's over, 1st and 10. That's their own 47.
Took a long time to get some
recognition.
Getting the turnovers. We've seen three Naugatuck intercepts. One of them for a 20-yard score by Bob Oris. Dowdy rather. They're just going to stay on the ground right now.
Well, they got to eat up as much clock as they can.
Right, just eat up that clock.
Again, a reminder, ladies and
they have everything. They've got ball control game, they've got a passing game, and they've got the kicking game, which is all working to their advantage right now.
And
the clock is ticking away.
And again, to remind you that no one
they got Xavier to a point where they couldn't play their own game anymore. And when they fell behind, Moreland.
Naugatuck playing airless ball.
That's right. No turnovers, and just a masterful quarterbacking job being done by Kevin Moreland. A lot of superlatives for Kevin all season long. Pete Capone's had quite a few superlatives, just about everybody else. And he's proven that worth if needed to be proven here today. 3:22 to go in the game with Naugatuck ahead 21-6. And he throws to Cross. It's tight end down to the 43.
First down.
Well, he caught them up tight, and a quick fake and a quick pass, the quickie pass to the tight end.
There will be a measurement.
Got a first down by half a football.
And it's all over except the final score.
Oh, they're letting out all stops now. They're not afraid to pull any play they have in the book. They want to keep that ball going and make it a glorious victory.
What did I tell you?
The first down.
Pete's been perfect today.
Just like the Naugatuck Greyhounds.
Right. And what a great engineering job we've had today. Are we allowed to mention your names? Okay, we won't mention.
Joe Fox and Andy Charney.
Yeah, I was going to mention. Joe Fox and Andy Charney. You want to give them another mention?
The Garnet and Gray came here to play, and they certainly did a job today. How's that?
That's the way. 3:13 remains in the ball game, and the Naugatuck Greyhounds in control. Moreland. Stopped on the play by defensive end Chris Nolan.
I think he wanted to stay in bounds, but I think he got thrown out. No, he was in bounds. The clock's still rolling.
This is Naugatuck's first championship football game. One of the reasons they hadn't been in before was the Ansonia Lavender Chargers, no question about that. This year they got past that obstacle, got into the championship game.
You know, it's ironic, too, that if Ansonia had beaten Naugatuck and played and won the Class S division, Xavier would have, or whoever won the Xavier game would have been #1. Now that Ansonia got knocked off by Naugatuck.
Right, there's another reason why the Greyhounds are #1.
That interior line with White carrying the ball, that's why they're #1 today.
Not kidding.
Oh, White carries to almost to the 30-yard line.
It was really good luck for the Naugatuck Greyhounds beating the Ansonia Chargers. Not that it was good luck that they beat them, but it was good luck that they got a chance to show that they deserve to be in this playoff. And they're certainly proving it right now by rolling over the Falcons of Xavier.
#1 ranked Xavier, and that, of course, will change when the final balloting is in. White.
Give us the White.
A straight ahead play. Vladik making the stop with an assist from Rico, the monster back. 1:41 to go in the game.
White's going to add another page to those great running backs, him and Dowdy, Wild Bill Tuckey and Edmonds, Cronin, those great running backs that Naugatuck had.
And you probably left out a few, and we're going to hear about it.
Oh, I'll hear about it.
Oh, remember the twins that played up in Naugatuck, too? I can't think of their names, but there was both good running backs.
Slips my mind now, too.
There's no fooling around. That's White just barreling through there.
Short of the first down.
Timeout, Xavier.
Xavier has to stop the clock, although it's not going to do any good now. Minute and 9 seconds to go. Really a well-played ball game. And
well, there was only 3 mistakes made by the Xavier team. No mistakes made by the Greyhounds.
Not a one
of Naugatuck.
The way this line has been charging, Langlays, Van Dyne, Skidmore, and Oris, and Sanford, they got complete control of that line of scrimmage, Brad.
Right. The fellows that sometimes don't get credit because they don't do the running, they don't do the passing or the catching of the passes. They're the ones who open the holes.
But it shows.
Right, certainly give their quarterback enough time to run the play he wants to run.
In a ball control game, that's where they get the credit.
Right. The Greyhounds have control of the football. Almost the entire game. Xavier had a sprint early in that ball game that the Greyhounds did stop, and they started from the 33, got inside the 30. Managed to get one score and a 19-yarder, and there's another score. Ted Dowdy scores again.
23 yards out.
And he was escorted by our great fullback,
What
White.
a hole again. I mean, that hole was outstanding.
Plus a blocker in front of him.
Right.
Give those fellas a mention again, Walt.
Yes, they are. Don Langlays, Rick Van Dyne, Scott Skidmore, Bob Oris, and Ted Sanford, and Steve Gross, and Joe Pascal.
Yeah, we got them all in there. 27-6. Dowdy, 23 yards. Moreland will try his 4th extra point. Good again.
Kick is good. And with 1:04 remaining in the game, the score is
1:04 to go in the ball game. 28-6. The Greyhounds are #1.
You know, a lot of people might have thought that Naugatuck was lucky in beating Ansonia, but they certainly proved that luck has nothing to do with it. They have one excellent football team, and they showed it here today all day. They played perfect football, no mistakes, no errors. Defense was tenacious. The offense did their job, and Xavier is really downhearted. And Xavier played a lot of good football games this year, and they deserve to be here too. It's only unfortunate that the New Britain team, who went undefeated, hadn't had an opportunity to get into the game. But today, Naugatuck could have beaten the best.
Right, there's no question. Mentioned earlier, I saw that the New Britain team, there's no way that they would be able to keep up with Naugatuck based on what the Greyhounds have done all year.
There's no way in the world that Naugatuck cannot be classed the #1 team in the state. If that happens, it's a gross misjudgment, and they ought to get rid of the voting system, because Naugatuck is the best team in the state right now.
Right. Ted Dowdy, 13 tries, 101 yards, and 2 scores.
Awaiting Moreland kickoff.
And we'll be under the minute mark. Just a few seconds. Down at the 23. Falls down.
Done from the 23.
At about the 32-yard line. Bicchetti.
102 remaining in the final period of play. I'm Pete Capone along with Brad Harris and Walt Teslick. We really enjoyed bringing this football game, didn't you, Brad?
Right. We may come back next year and do it again.
Oh, I hope so.
Same place. Well, maybe you play at
Derby's going to be loaded. They had an awful lot of juniors and sophomores on there. Good team.
Xavier is going to be
another interception.
Well, we'll see if Dunn can snare this one. Oh!
Another interception.
Caught it before it hit the ground.
Interception.
Another interception. Pryor with the intercept this time. Okay, that's the 4th intercept.
28-6. If anybody had picked that score at the beginning of the game, it was me, Brad, and Walt. Nobody else.
Pryor is a linebacker, and he got back about 40 yards for that ball, Pete.
Right.
That shows you the mobility of those linebackers. There was no fluke that they held Ansonia to 40-some yards.
Well, the
rushing.
Ansonia Chargers, 7 turnovers in that ball game. And that's the mark of a good team that takes advantage of them.
But they still gave up a lot of passing yardage, but still, when they needed it, they held Ansonia.
Well, today, they're trying to adjust the clock, which is malfunctioning, but it doesn't make any difference now. They can just as soon stop the game right now. 28-6, 7-0 at halftime.
It was 7-6 or something.
White,
He's got a little outside
yardage.
move.
First down.
White got from behind by Laddick.
Laddick makes the stop, as he's done so often today. Keith Laddick. Xavier calls the timeout.
Well, if our camera crew can get a picture of the sideline at the end of the game, then you're going to see some people really happy. A lot of expression.
28. All right.
7-yard pickup.
As a matter of fact, they're going crazy right now, jumping up and down, some of them.
Well, it's the Great Valley Pride. They've been in 7 championship games now. Ansonia 6 and Naugatuck the 7th time.
How many carries did he have, Rick?
So Valley football can hold its head up high today.
Yeah, I thought so.
93.
Dowdy, an outstanding running game.
Dowdy, 101 yards, 13 tries.
That's about 8 yards a carry, if my mathematics is right.
37 seconds to go. Naugatuck going to be a victor in this ball game.
And the crowd will go wild.
Starting to count down now.
28-6. Probably the final score, but the way the Greyhounds have been going the last few minutes, they might even add to it. On the 38-yard line, White to about the 43.
Tackle by Kowalski.
Kowalski makes the stop, and they're counting it down.
Gain of 4 on the play.
And we have had quite a day, and we've done other championship games.
Most one-sided game, the championship game that we've ever covered.
But that came at the end. It came at the end. And it was 7-6 in the third quarter, and the Greyhounds taking advantage of the turnovers and winning it by a score of 28-6. The Class L1 champions.
Look at that team. Everybody's out there.
We ought to give Greg Peters a great hand for putting this offense together. What do you say?
Yeah, he is outstanding.
Let's do it.
Greg Peters, great job, and he'll be back again next year, and so will we. Peter Capone.
Yeah, Brad Harris, Walt does it.
28-6. Naugatuck the victor over Xavier of Middletown. Pete Capone.
Yeah, we wish you a Merry Christmas coming up, and we hope you enjoyed Valley High School football as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And what a better way to knock it off than having the #1 team in the state the last game of the year. The Naugatuck Greyhounds 28 and the Xavier Falcons 6.
Appearing on Channel 10B, Valley Football.
We'll see you on basketball.
You got it.
Right.